Good day, everyone. I'm Erica Q. Gajes, a second-year Bachelor of Secondary Education major in English student. Today, I'll be presenting my topic for Ed 204, Foundations of Spatial and Inclusive Education. So my topic is Unit 3, Legal Frameworks, Policies, Safety, and Inclusive School Culture, focusing specifically on Philippine and global policies. And we will going to explore two important documents. First is the UDHR or Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and the second one is UNCRPD or United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. So these policies are essential in promoting inclusive, safe, and rights-based education. Let's begin! Number one is the UDHR, or the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So human rights are basic freedoms that protect dignity and fairness from birth. So according to Baja in 2021, teaching human rights in school is a global movement. So it helps students understand their rights and the rights of others to be better and more equal. So according to Cantura Rivera, in 2024, the UDHR was adopted by the United Nations in 1948. It is a milestone document guiding freedom and equality worldwide. So one key right is the right to education. So it helps students understand the rights, think critically, and of course, act for justice. So meaning to say this is an important right in shaping the learner's character. So now let's move on to the Article 26, the right to education number 1. Everyone has the right to education, meaning to say, education shall be free at least in elementary stages. In addition, technical and higher education should be accessible based on merit. So we have here an example. Miguel, a boy from a poor town, attends free elementary school and earns a scholarship to study engineering. So in this example, it shows how free education helps students or children succeed regardless of their income, even though they have a financial strength, but because of these law or these right, this child can now achieve what he wants or she wants to achieve. So number 2 is education shall develop personality and respect for human rights. So meaning to say, it should promote understanding, tolerance, and peace. So for example, there are 4 classmates from different cultures, work together, learn from each other, and become friends. So education builds respect, kindness, and unity among diverse students. So in this article, it is not just about the right to education, but also we will going to have a respect and unity or friendships from different students or our fellow students. So, number 3 is parents have the right to choose their child's education. So we have here an example. Joy's parents enroll her in an arts-focused school to support her talents. So in this example, it highlights the role of parents in shaping education that fits their child's needs. So in summary, about the UDHR, so it protects the right to education, and education should build values, not just knowledge, meaning to say education shapes students in building their good character, not just about the knowledge that they are they gained from the class. So schools must teach respect, of course, that is very important, critical thinking, and justice so that the students are knowledgeable enough about what their rights and how to act properly. Next one is the implications for inclusive school culture. So all students feel welcome and safe, of course. Next is teachers understand and appreciate that everyone is different. Meaning to say, every children comes from different backgrounds or culture, different religion, and different beliefs. So you have to treat them equally, and you know how to talk and communicate with your students as a future educator. So we have, and of course, learning is not just about having a good grades, having a perfect score during test, but it is all about building or shaping a good character and work together. So we have here an example. Imagine a classroom where kids who speak different languages or have different abilities. So all learn step by step and help each other and feel like they belong. So no matter where you came from, no matter what your abilities are, you still have um, the right to education and should be treated equally. Now let's move on to number two, the UNCRPD, or also known as the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. But before that, let us first define what is disability. So disability results from the interaction between impairments and barriers in society. So it's not just a medical issue, it's about access and attitudes. So we have here an example. Anna, who is deaf, can fully learn if her school provides sign language. So we have an alternative solution if the person or the student has disability which is deaf. So the purpose of this is to focus on removing barriers, not changing the person. So let's move on to persons with disabilities. So who are these people? So includes those with long-term physical, mental, intellectual, and sensory impairments, meaning to say, barriers, not the condition alone, limit participation. So, for example, Carlos has dyslexia. With a text-to-speech tool, he can succeed in school. So the alternative solution in order to help the student who has dyslexia is the text-to-speech tool. So in this example, it helps institutions recognize who needs support and ensure fairness so that every student who came from different um, backgrounds or has different disabilities can feel support and ensure fairness and equality. Now let's move on to the UNCRPD. So UNCRPD, or the Conventions on the Right of Persons with Disability, is a UN agreement that is adopted in 2006. So it protects the rights of persons with disabilities and reflects their life experiences. So it covers civil, political, economic, social, and cultural rights. So it emphasizes inclusion, dignity, and equal participation in society. So meaning to say, this agreement is essential, especially to those students or learners who has disabilities in order for them to feel safe, welcome, and included inside the school. Now, let's move on to the UNCRPD General Principles. So it has 8 general principles, and these are the following principles. Please be guided. Number 1, dignity, autonomy, and independence. Meaning to say, everyone should make their own choices. For example, as students chooses how to join school or class activities. Number two is this is very important. Non-discrimination. No one should be excluded due to disability, meaning to say, even though you have disability, that student must feel or should feel that he or she is included in the class. So all students can join school clubs. Number three is participation and inclusion. So people with disabilities must be part of community life. So for example, in our community, barangay invites them to join events. Next is number four, respect for differences. Disabilities are part of human diversity and that is normal. That is why we have to treat them equal. And one of the example for this is teachers highlight students' unique strengths. Instead of focusing on the disability of the child or learners, we can see or focus on what she or he can offer in the class, wherein I know that every student has strengths, so that strengths will help her to boost her confidence. Number five is equality of opportunity, meaning to say everyone deserves the same chances, no matter what your disability is. For example, a student with low vision gets large print materials. So the alternative solution in order to help the student who has a low vision is to provide his or her a large print materials. Next is number six, accessibility. Environments must be usable by all. For example, schools install ramps and interpreters. Number seven is equality between men and women. Meaning to say, gender equality must include persons with disability. For example, a girl with disability runs for school or student council. So even though she has the disability, but because of the strength when it comes to leadership, she can run and join activities in the school. Lastly, is the respect for children's evolving capacities, meaning to say, children grow in their own way. For example, a child with autism expresses ideas through an art. Now let's move on to the UNCRPD areas or what the UNCRPD covers. First is the education, inclusive classrooms for all learners. The second one is work, equal job opportunities. Number three is health, access to needed health care. Number four is accessibility, inclusive buildings and transport. And number five is public life, right to vote and participate in decisions. So, for example, new schools must be accessible and involve persons with disabilities in planning. Next, the implications for school. We have here an example. So a teacher uses different teaching methods like visual aids, group work, and hands-on activities to help all students learn, including those with learning disabilities. Next is what the CRPD has achieved or the goals or impact of the CRPD. So in the first bullet, it emphasizes that the Philippines passed the Magna Carta for persons with disabilities to protect their rights. So the purpose is to show how the CRPD inspires real legal changes that help people with disability live better lives. The second bullet emphasizes that treating people with disabilities as equals, not just people who need charity, meaning to say, instead of giving donations, a school now includes students with disabilities in regular classes and activities in order to highlight the shift from pity to respect and inclusion in society. And the third bullet reminds us that a country creates a national action plan for accessible transport and sends a report to the UN in order to show that countries are held accountable and must take real steps to improve the lives of persons with disabilities. So, in conclusion, understanding these global policies, the UDHR and the UNCRPD reminds us that inclusive education is not just a goal, but a right. As a future educators, it's our duty to create classrooms where every learner feels safe, valued, and of course, empowered.